Where do I even start? I cannot keep my excitement in no more. You're still watching East Central. It's now time to chat with our special guest. Let's call this a true exclusive. My guest today is signed to one of Africa's leading record labels, yes, Maven, and I dare to say that he's one of Afrobeats' rising stars shaping the culture. With smash hits like Love Don't Cost a Dime and the recent release of his debut album, I Dream in Colors, please join me welcoming Alexander Adilabu, popularly known as Magixx. How are you feeling?
How about that day?
You're looking fly.
Like it.
Yeah,
you and I say you the drip now.
This is all for you. I have to get my daddy's suits for this.
Nah, they play.
Let's talk about your project. I mean, you just dropped a debut album. What does that feel like? I mean, would you say long time coming? Were you nervous? How does it feel? And the reception?
For me, I think it's like, I feel like it's a blessing. You know, because there's a lot of people who want to make music or who are doing music that never get to put out a project, like an album. Because it's a blessing. It takes money, it takes, you know, it takes this and that. But we are grateful to God. And yeah, there's always initial pressure, but like we are leaning into it, and I'm glad that people are enjoying the album.
Right.
And yeah.
I got to be honest with you. I mean, we're going to talk more about the project because we're all excited to talk about it. But I feel like I want to know like a perspective of younger Magixx. You know, like your upbringing, because again, I'll say it again, you are fresh.
Yeah, no fresh. When I'm fresh,
you got to tell me about your upbringing. You know how that, of course, you know, brought you to being the person that you are, and you know your family's support.
I think my upbringing is quite, you know, quite normal.
Okay.
Like every other kid on the street. I come from Okera. Okera is not far from Ogba here.
Interesting.
So I grew up in Okera, Ogba, and I think my environment generally was a little bit supportive because the school I went to, I learned how to play like musical instruments. So that kind of like helped me to like, you know, have an idea, you know, of like music in that form. And also I had friends that wanted to be rappers in school too. People who wanted to be artists. So like all these guys, they kind of like shape, you know, your insight on, so like this rapper, there is, you know, so it makes you, those things, you know, facilitate.
At this point, did you want to be a musician? Were you setting that this is what you want to do?
I've never thought about, up until when I said I wanted to be an artist, I never thought about being something else. Yeah, I never lead my, you know, when people used to be like, what do you want to become for school? Me, I never used to say that I want to become anything because in my head I was not yet sure.
Okay.
So I never said anything, I'll just keep to myself. But then when I started making music, because I dropped my first song when I was 13. Yeah, so so it was very early on for me. So yeah. I've just always wanted to do music.
Let's talk about the album. I mean, seeing the, you know, the process from being sure and then now putting out. This project, a lot of people would say it's, you know, we can tell that you're an emotional guy. You know, you're in tune from, you know, hustle and some of the songs, you know, to love, you know, to responsibility on your shoulder. I'm thinking, what do you remember about putting this project together? Whether a few tears, things you can't forget about these 13 tracks?
The one thing I would say for sure is that like making this album was a release of, you know, everything that I've gone through. You know, a lot of people like just see you on TV. People just see you, you know, doing shows, and they think everything is, you know, all rosy. You know, but like at the end of the day, it's still a lot of work that is, you know, put into this thing. And I also have to operate from a place of faith because I'm not doing any other thing. You know, this is the only thing I'm doing, and I have to put my all into what I'm doing. So this album is saying that like whatever it is that you believe in, whatever it is that you want for yourself as a human being, you can achieve it if you put your mind to it. This album is for every hustler, like you said. It's for everybody that wants something out of life, you know. So yeah, that's what this album is about.
I feel like a part of me listening to your music, you know, how emotional it feels, how I like tap into my emotion as well. I get to think that, okay, let's see, Magixx, of course, Alexander, if I had to say that. You know, like when you're at your lowest, you know, as a person, forgetting that, you know, you're in the limelight or anything, even though there's pressure, what do you do? Like, how do you handle that? Because there's a lot of pressure, especially for men.
There's always pressure. If anybody comes to you and be like, I don't feel any pressure, then that person feels the most pressure. Because now you're putting yourself in a place where you can't even speak to people about your challenges, and you are going to cave in so much that you might not know it, but like you're setting yourself up for BP in the future. So there's nobody that doesn't have things that like that is on their mind.
Yeah.
And me, how I deal with it is I take time off.
Okay.
I take time off. Sometimes I write about it because writing is also a form of release for me. So I write about it. That's most of the songs on the album. Basically, it's just me venting.
Yeah.
It's me venting, saying everything I've been through basically for the last 2-3 years of my life, and how I want to sell out stadiums.
I like that.
How I want to,
Preach.
I want to be the biggest in the world. So that's what this album is.
I was going to talk about this much later, but I remember when you talked about selling stadiums. I mean, recently you were in Uganda.
Yeah.
How was that reception like? I do think we have a bit of a clip. What was that like? Being in somewhere that is not home, but still feeling so much love and acceptance.
Man, it's amazing. I don't go lie for you, man. I don't feel lie for you because, like, this is a full or like a full. I'm talking 5,000 people coming out, buying tickets.
Wow.
Sold out, and this is like last week, basically. Like this is like, it's not like 2 years ago.
Like fresh.
Yeah, like this is
happened.
like coming out to see me, man.
Right.
Like, and I can't say nothing more than like thank you to those people because maybe my money they take. Do you understand?
Right.
I'm really grateful for the opportunity to make music that allows me to travel. I was also in Tanzania the next day.
Wow.
Because I had a show the next day. I was in Kenya the previous day.
Okay.
So and everything was sold out.
Yeah.
We're in Sierra Leone next week as well. So it's like we're outside.
This is. I mean, you're now you the hot.
No, I don't do the hot pass.
I mean, we're going to talk a little about the industry and Maven Records, but I feel like for a lot of people who maybe don't know what the vibe is, and how accepted Afrobeats is, not just here in Africa but around the world. Let's take a behind the scenes of the performances, some of the African shows, of course, that just happened.
Do anything for my baby, oh, my baby, You're looking so fine, your body like a dynamite. You inspire my moody. My friends them say I'm foolish. You know that look in your eye. You know it don't lie. Don't be sad.
All I'm thinking watching that is, why wasn't I there? Anybody would love to be in that vibe, sing along. I mean, Magixx, that's what music does, Everyone can connect, even if we don't understand what you're saying many times. Here we are. Let's talk about your family, the industry, Maven Records. I believe September will be 4 years since you got signed.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a record label that, houses Rema, Ayra Starr. Are they truly family? What does that feel like that that's your...
Yeah, man, it's family, man. Everybody's everywhere in the world. Everybody's traveling. Everybody's selling out shows. Succeeding in their own area, and it's amazing to see because we come from the same pipeline.
Yeah.
I remember we were together in the pandemic. We were all coming from our various houses.
Yeah.
Me and Ayra, Bayani, Boy Spice, So it's just like, it's amazing to see like everybody has really grown to be like, somebody great. And yeah, of course, it differs, but we are grateful to God. So yeah.
I want to talk about the album a little more, especially one of my favorite songs on the project. I know it's hard to ask because I'm going to ask what your favorite song is on the project. Musicians are like, they're all my babies, but OK stood out to me. And when I read a bit about it, and we're talking back about this pressures, even sometimes people expecting so much from you, you're able to support them. And you're also human. How do you navigate that now?
But if you don't get money to give person, you don't give, if you don't get anything to give person, you don't give anybody anything. She understand.
Yeah.
If I have as a person, if I get, I'll give. But if I don't get, I know if you give you it, I don't get that. Do you understand? Generally in life, I think don't inconvenience yourself for other people's satisfaction.
Right.
I say this selfishly because it's like if you are down, it's only a number of people.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Even the people that are collecting from you, I promise you, you'll be surprised. But be a good person, you know, give what you can give. Don't try to impress people by giving. Like, don't never do that in your life. Like,
it's good. It sets up.
Never try to impress. Like, never try to be people's superhero.
You know, let me talk about, you know, the industry right now. And I did introduce you as, you know, one of the rising stars, you know. I mean, you're doing a fantastic job inspiring the younger generation. And there are more and more musicians popping out. You know, I don't know, I feel like the industry is saturated, you know, but even though there's still room for everybody, do you think it's easier now to put out music than it was, I mean, thanks to socials? Or do you think it's even more complicated now because not everyone can do the TikTok dances? You know, what do you think?
Ah, man, that's a very dicey question, because I don't know, to be honest. I don't know. I think it's saturated, of course, and social media is really taking away people's attention span. You find, and I saw my junior, like a sibling of mine that was going to like social media, and she was watching everything on fast forward. So, and I'm like, how are you watching everything on fast forward? Like, that means you cannot even see through a movie. Do you understand?
Right.
People barely shoot music videos these days because it's like people just want to do reels. And it's fucking up a part of the business. But I would also say it has its own advantages as well. So I won't totally say it's saturated, because the internet does, you know, some bringing together. It does.
I got to ask this question, you know. Everyone talks about the big three, and sometimes they want to know who your fave is. I'm just concerned about the conversation around maybe a big four, because there's a lot of people doing, Thames is doing fire, you know. What do you think?
That's not a conversation I want to talk about.
Okay.
That's not a conversation. I don't really care about those things.
Right.
Yeah.
OBO dropped his album today. You heard it?
I actually have not listened yet.
You haven't listened yet? Okay.
But I'm definitely going to listen. Definitely on my way home. Because I've not had time.
But
I'm a huge fan of Davido. Like, this a childhood hero for me. I listened to him since I was like a baby, basically. so I'm big shout out to Davido, man. Congrats on the album. So yeah.
I usually ask musicians this question, and it might be a little funny, but it depends on your answer. What would you rather, win a Grammy Award right now or sell out the O2 Arena?
I don't care about awards.
For real?
I don't know, man. People talk about awards, like the way people talk about awards is like the best reward is impact. At the end of the day, like, the best reward in life is impact, because the award is really not going to do anything for me. Like, personally, I already have an internal acceptance, self-gratification.
I like that.
Self-respect.
And that's what you need sometimes.
If you don't have that, I don't think you can be successful in the first place.
I wish at that time to break this project down more, but fans can go listen to it, 13-track project at Dreaming Colors. Thank you so much for spending time with us on the show.
Man.
You're doing a fire job, and we look forward to you setting out the O2 and even winning the Grammy.
Thank you, I appreciate it, brother, man. If he comes.